College Basketball Live Scoreboard is presented by ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
John Shelby, Robbie Hummel back here at the Sprint Center. SMU taking on Cincinnati. Second half, Justin Jennifer buries the three. Cincinnati up by 5.
Well, when you got players that can put the ball in the basket, Cincinnati on this day absolutely has that. SMU able to make a little bit of a run. You see Jimmy Witt getting a steal. SMU just down 4, but Jaron Cumberland, a first-team All-League guy, game-high 26 points, getting it done, getting into the basket.
And later on, Trey Scott knocks down the jumper. Cincy up by 7, 75-68. And Cincinnati holds on 82-74. Memphis and UCF in the quarterfinals. First half, Memphis up 4. Even Davenport buries that one. And then second half, Memphis up 55-38. It starts to become a runaway. Isaiah Maurice hits the 3.
They had a career-high 21 points, 3 of 6 from downtown, 8 of 11 from the field. And then Davenport getting the steal, getting it up to Isaiah Maurice, finishing it off with a dunk.
All Memphis. Meanwhile, UConn and Houston, the 1 seed Houston, and this was absolutely blowout city.
Have to think Kelvin Sampson in the running, maybe the favorite for National Coach of the Year, the job he's done with Houston, 30-2 on the season, only losses at Temple and UCF.
How good are they? How far of a run can they go?
The way they can get out and transition, the athletes he's got, I think they are a second weekend team.
Wow, all right. 84-45 as Dan Hurley's team gets thumped. And you check out the brackets. Houston and Memphis will match up in the semifinals coming up tomorrow. Cincinnati awaits the winner of Temple and Wichita State. All right, Central Michigan and Buffalo, the MAC semifinals. Second half, Sean Roundtree. Deep. Were they shooting it from that far when you played?
No, this is a new development, man. Everybody's shooting NBA threes in college now.
Right there, C.J. Massenberg with the 3. And then Jeremy Harris with the bucket. Final minute, Buffalo up 1. Massenberg inside lays it in. Buffalo up 81-78.
You knew he'd make a play. He's been one of the best players in the MAC conference all season.
Well, this is the game that we just watched. You just called it on ESPN Radio. Iowa State and Kansas semifinals. Xavier Sneed to drive. Whoa.
You know he's got the ability to go upstairs. Big-time play right there. Michael Jacobson, outlet passes for days. Right back at you, Tyrese Halliburton.
Down the stretch, though, this was the big shot. Mariel Shayok. Bam.
21 points on the day. Big-time players making big-time plays. He absolutely closed this one out for Iowa State.
Our second semifinal coming up. Emmett Matthews coming off a career-high 28. They'll need more quality performance, and West Virginia is going to continue their Cinderella run. Here's Holly Rowe with the head coach, Bob Huggins.
Coach Huggins, you have said that your team wants a chance to be in the NCAA tournament. Every time you break the huddle, it's like, we're Big 12 champs. How have you seen this fighting spirit with your group?
Well, I think it's a necessity. It's do or die for us. We're either going to win this and go to the NCAA tournament or not go to the NCAA tournament. So they understand what they're playing for.
You have a little bit different lineup than the last time you beat Kansas. Who do you think can step up that Kansas doesn't really know about right now?
I'm sure Bill knows about everybody. We've had different guys step up virtually every game since those guys started playing together, and he's not in the Hall of Fame for nothing.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, ma'am.
So it'll be West Virginia and Kansas squaring off. They split their regular season matchups, each team winning at home. What'd you make of the performance the other night, though, West Virginia?
I just thought their effort was outstanding. And if you saw them play a month ago, it looked like a completely different team. The offensive glass has always been good to Bob Huggins' program. But if you watched last night, the effort they gave on the glass, Emmett Matthews in particular, you see him coming in, swooping in from the perimeter, making effort plays, something you never saw if you saw them play just 6 weeks ago. Again, Brandon Knapper getting to the basket. Derek Culver, one of the best offensive rebounds in the country, right there to clean it up. He draws so much attention. Look at the backside. Wide open for both Chase Harler and Evan Matson to go in there, clean up plays. They got after it on the glass, and they absolutely out-toughed Texas Tech.
Kansas, in their win over Texas, had a difficult time making shots. Usually if the offense is going well for Kansas, transition is a factor.
Well, around before their game 2 days ago, and that's exactly what he was concerned about, and for good reason. You see right here, Dedrick Lawson going to come in, end up with this basketball. What a luxury it is to have your four-man push the pace, put pressure on that defense. Devon Dotson wide open in the corner. Transition defense leading to good offense. Devon Dotson, again, one of the fastest guys in college basketball, shooting through the passing lanes. They absolutely blitz Texas in the transition game. Marcus Garrett right here throwing ahead. You see it right here. 4 Kansas bodies leading the break. Quentin Grimes getting behind Eli Mitru-Long. Easy points, the story for Kansas last night against Texas.
Iowa State awaits the winner of this one. It'll be West Virginia and Kansas. Tip coming up. Fran Fraschilla, Bob Wischusen, Holly Rowe with the call. For Robbie Hummel, I'm John Chambe. We'll talk to you at the half.
All right, Champ, thanks very much. It is Champ Week, presented by Principal, as we are just about set for semifinal number 2 here at the Sprint Center in Kansas City. Terrific atmosphere for game 1. It's only going to get better in semifinal number 2 because the Jayhawk fans are in the building and they will be heard. Number 10, West Virginia, the first time a 10 seed has ever made it to the semifinals of the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship. The Mountaineer fans, well, they have celebrated some upsets in this championship already, and maybe a mild upset in semifinal number 1. Mariel Shayok hit the pressure threes late, and Iowa State was able to come behind against Kansas State, and the Cyclones advance to become the first entrant into the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship game. Tomorrow evening, we will kick off the triple header on ESPN with Iowa State against either Kansas or West Virginia at 6 Eastern. And for everyone that was wondering whether or not West Virginia's season was over when they only won 4 games during the regular season, Bob Huggins had a message.
Why all the long faces? We're not dead yet.
That doesn't get any better than that. That was way back in the Cincinnati days, but Bob Huggins thought it would be appropriate if maybe that moment reappeared on the West Virginia Twitter feed, which it did after they pulled off the upset win over Texas Tech last night. Bob Wischusen here with Fran Fraschilla. Holly Rowe will join us in just a moment. Look, West Virginia's an amazing story. They have kind of reinvented themselves to make it to this game, but Kansas has had to do the same this year. Multiple times, Bill Self has had to reinvent this team.
Or resurrected them, as it might be, but absolutely. They've undergone what I call a metamorphosis. They went from big early with Doak Azubuike to small with 4 guards. They're back to playing big, but of course, it's all about Dedrick Lawson. He of the 20 double-doubles this season. 2020 or 20 double-doubles. That's what he's gotten, and he's the guy that is the focal point for this team.
And let's go over to Holly Rowe.
For West Virginia with 28 points, said this team has been so crazy this year, they should make it 30 for 30 about us. This West Virginia team is starting kids tonight who had no factor whatsoever the last time this team played Kansas. Case in point, Jordan McCabe contributed very little, just 5 minutes. Emmett Matthews himself didn't even play last time they won against the Jayhawks. You talk about a resurrection. It has been a reformation, transformation, makeover for this West Virginia team, but they said, you know what, through it all, Coach Huggins never stopped believing in us, and so we never stopped believing in ourselves.
Kansas in the odd position of being the number 3 seed, not being a 1 or a 2, because for the first time in a decade and a half, they didn't at least share the Big 12 regular season championship, so they come into the Sprint Center as more the hunter than the hunted, and they're trying to get to the championship game tomorrow against, as Holly said, a completely reinvented West Virginia team.
And I think tonight, Bob, for this game, they're probably more of the hunted because of what West Virginia's accomplished. And this guy, you talk about a physical specimen. There is no stronger, bigger, younger player in this league with tremendous upside than Derek Culver going to the line. 6'10", 260.
And he reinvented himself this season as he missed the first 10 games to start the year. And that time missed just about everything. He was suspended early by Bob Huggins because he was just either late to regularly or at times not attending class. And Bob Huggins told him, I don't know what you've heard about our program. That's not the way we do it here. You're done.
Little attitude rearrangement.
They basically kicked him out of the building and told him, maybe we'll revisit this later. And he thanked Bob Huggins later for helping him get it back on track. The lob, Abaji can't throw it down.
Little too high, but sneaky way to start to get Abaji going, who has struggled over the last 6 games. But Kansas wants to play inside out to start this game.
Lamont West hits a 3.
Being around this team the last 48 hours, Bob, there's I didn't see this all season, a quiet confidence.
Grimes gets Kansas on the board. If Quentin Grimes knocks down 3s, Kansas is a different team.
They are. He gets good looks. They just don't go in as often as he would like.
McCabe slips one to Culver, the extra pass. And the bank shot is good for Jermaine Haley.
Oh, well done right there. Pick and roll and a good delivery by Culver. You see Lawson out, and this guy inside. He's been a revelation, McCormick.
He spins, lost his footing, and traveling is called. Well, Bill Self started 4 freshmen only one other time in his tenure at Kansas. That was back in 2013, and that foursome, pretty good one. Joel Embiid, Wayne Selden, Andrew Wiggins, and Frank Mason. All 4 NBA careers in their future, obviously. He's got 4 freshmen starting again. And speaking of freshmen, Jordan McCabe connects.
And this is the ringleader right here. Quiet confidence we talked about.
And I think we've got a clock issue as the shot clock never started. So Kip Kissinger is going to go over to the scorers table and correct that.
Did you feel the different vibe today from what we've seen this season?
They view themselves as a different team. And they view themselves as kind of that line in the sand that started about 6 games ago. They've reached now 3 straight Big 12 championship games. But Bob Huggins never, I'm sure, imagined that was going to happen with this group, especially with Sags Kanate as a non-factor. They kick Issa Ahmad and Wesley Harris off the team. Beetle Bolden is now in the transfer portal. Those were all guys that were supposed to be starters and regular contributors. They're all out of the mix, and now it's this group that's basically a different team that got together about 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
I thought Bob Huggins made a great point. He said, I didn't coach some of these young guys earlier in the year because we were spending so much time on the veterans. Since he made those roster changes, they're getting his full attention.
McCormick at the post, or rather Dotson, and the jumper is good. Mitch Lightfoot came on for McCormick. Haley bullies his way to the basket and gets shut down by Mitch Lightfoot.
That's what Mitch Lightfoot does. He is their Energizer bunny. All he cares about is making those kind of plays. It's a block shot here, but it's charges, it's floor burns, deflections.
Culver flips it up and in.
He is a handful, this kid, out of Youngstown, Ohio. If the light comes on as far as the coaching, watch out.
Dotson hangs and hits. Great body control by the freshman Devon Dotson. as Culver couldn't handle it from the Cape. Lightfoot lobs one into Dotson, and he'll go to the line.
Watch this, Bob. Watch how Bill Self sets this drive up. Dotson's going to come off the screen, and there's nobody in the low post. Nobody to challenge, so they created that seam for him to get to the rim. Well done. The other thing we've seen early, who's at the foul line, Dedrick Lawson, who has been so good playing both inside and outside, making his threes now at a high rate in the second half of the year.
And he has been to the line roughly 60 more times than anyone else for Kansas. And the Cyclones heading up to greet Hilton South, as plenty of Cyclone fans have stuck around to watch game number 2. And tomorrow night, that group is going to get a chance to play for yet another Big 12 championship, as they've won 3 of the last 5. And if it's Iowa State and Kansas, it's like Groundhog's Day here at the Sprint Center.
And it will be a madhouse, as it usually is. This is one of the great postseason conference tournaments in all of college basketball, if not the best.
West posts up, triple teamed. Back outside to Matthews. He's got it.
What confidence. This kid's career high before last night was 13, and he dropped 28 in that great win over Texas Tech.
Dotson plus the foul.
That's speed right there. I haven't seen a player all year any quicker than this kid. What a freshman season. Take a look. And Bobby can drive both hands. Watch. He rejects the screen that time. And not many guys can go at 75 miles an hour with both their right and left hands.
There's a lineage at Kansas at almost every position, but especially at point guard. They've had so many good ones. How do you think Devon Dotson, when it's all said and done, is going to stack up?
Oh, I mean, listen, you're talking about guys like Jacques Vaughn, obviously, and Mario Chalmers, Russell Robinson, Graham and Miles. I think he's had as good a freshman season as you could expect any Kansas point guard to have. And he's close to playing the most minutes as a freshman point guard of any player that has ever played in the blue and the red.
Lamont West stripped away. Dotson, like lightning the other direction. And it's tipped around, and Lamont West comes away with it. Emmett Matthews, an NBA 3. That's off the mark. Lawson steps back, connects. A triple of his own to put Kansas back on top.
I'll tell you what he did I just loved. His footwork right there was impeccable. His little jab got route off of him, and he didn't travel and knocks it down.
Fade away, and a rainbow won't go for Brandon Napper. The loose ball out of bounds on the Kansas bench, and it will belong to West Virginia when we come back. 5 minutes in. 2-point lead for KU.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Great shooting, starts from the feet up. And this guy, Dedrick Lawson, wants the footwork to get the defender off, and then the step back and the follow through. And Bob, we've seen him score in the low post this year, but this is where he's really made that improvement in the second part of the year. Woeful percentage early. Last 14 games or so, he has been red hot. And with McCormick scoring inside, it allows this guy to play both inside and out and give them a dual threat.
Well, Fran, one of the reasons he's improved that three-point shooting is he decided to get in the gym and every single day say from midseason and conference play on, he has been making 250 threes per day. He said that consistent effort plus watching it back and making sure he's keeping his form correct has really skyrocketed. That's individual work put in the gym when nobody's watching.
The leading scorer, the leading rebounder in the league, and if he adds a step-back three to his game, in this league, he's unguardable.
I agree, and we know he can drive it, too.
Emmett Matthews, blocked again by Lightfoot. Aboushuz in Fran for Schiller. Ali Rowe, as that time lost in travel.
Yeah, that time he was a little too anxious. Transfer from Memphis, was a good player at Memphis. He averaged about 19 and 10, Bob, but to do it in this league this year and have to bear the brunt of the scoring. There you see his older brother, KJ, who, by the way, is only a sophomore, and Diedrich's a junior, so.
He had a medical red shirt a couple years at Memphis, but Diedrich Lawson, 36 double-doubles in 2 years at Memphis in the American, 20 double-doubles in the Big 12 this year alone. McCabe lobs one into Culver, and it looks like a foul will be called for holding Culver on Lightfoot. And that's Lightfoot's first. McCormick coming back in.
We did a game in Lubbock where Derek Culver, this is hard to believe, he shot 24 free throws. And the last time that happened at West Virginia was in the 1920s when they had a designated free throw shooter to shoot all of the team's foul shots.
A.J. Lawson in with McCormick as Lightfoot goes to the bench along with Diedrich Lawson. Tapped around. Quentin Grimes has the rebound off the McCabe miss. Garrett, he gets going downhill. He's tough to stop. That time a little too strong off the back rim. Foul called on Culver as he was in hand-to-hand combat underneath with David McCormick. That's the first on Culver.
David McCormick did a great job last night on Jackson Hayes. He dominated that game. And Culver a little frustrated right there. That's two big young guys right there, both freshmen. If they stick around, they're going to battle like this many times.
Marcus Garrett floats one up, short. Culver grabs the rebound. Culver faces up on McCormick, bullies his way to the rim.
How about that? He just knocked a 260-pound guy out of the way. That is force right there. Now what he's got to do is stay out of foul trouble.
Dotson goes to the free throw line.
David McCormick has been a force in his own right the last few weeks, but watch this power right here. McCormick just bounces off of Culver and he finishes. That's strong right there.
Culver with one foul, and now Jordan McCabe with one as well.
One thing I love about Derek Culver when we've been around him, he's always got a smile on his face. Now, I like this substitution right here. I used to like to take a big guy out with one foul because you know what happens when a big guy gets one? He gets two, often immediately. So sit him down right now, let him catch his breath, and then put him back in when he's ready to go.
Coming up on the under 12, so it's probably a good time to grab him a few extra minutes of rest as well as Ochai Agbaji comes back in for Bill Self. Quentin Grimes got to do the same thing. He will go to the bench and get a rest before we get to the under 12 timeout. 2-point lead for Kansas. The winner advances to take on Iowa State in the championship game tomorrow. McCabe has that ball on a string. Shot clock down to 7. Haley bullets one underneath. Logan Rout able to roll one home.
Oh, that pass went about 80 miles an hour. These two freshman point guards have matched up many times. Last time they were together in high school, they played at the Steph Curry All-American camp.
McCabe,
nice
another one to route. Tied up by Garrett. Loose ball. KJ Lawson is able to get his hands on the basketball as well. It's a held ball, and it will go back to KU.
Watch Jermaine Haley right now. This ball's going to get swung. You see route open inside. Excellent delivery. And the young man from Cameron, West Virginia, Logan Rout, a 3 sports star at Cameron High School with the finish.
Originally a walk-on, put on scholarship last year. Garrett crosses over, sets up Abaji. That's off the mark. And it goes to West Virginia. Under 12 to go here in the first half of our second semifinal, deadlocked at 17 in Kansas City.
Kevin Sean in studio. Duke, Carolina on ESPN. Sean Zion's playing and Carolina's running.
Yeah, Cam Johnson out in front. He's also been able to hit a couple of threes. He's got 14 points. Meanwhile, Duke hasn't made a three-point shot yet in this game.
Washington trailing Colorado at the half. Michigan a 4-point lead on Iowa. Zion has 4 points, 3 rebounds in the early going, Bob and Fran.
And Kevin, Duke, North Carolina might be looked upon as the main event at the New York Life ACC tournament. But, of course, it's a semifinal. Florida State earned their way to the title game with a terrific win against Virginia, knocking off the 1 seed. So we saw the 1 seed lose and the 2 seed lose here at the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship as well. It's March.
Yeah.
Teams get upset. It's what happens.
And you've seen Florida State. You know how deep they are and how long they are.
They just don't have that guy that you can focus on as West tries a rainbow 3 and gets fouled by Ochai Agbaji right in front of Bill Self. The freshman makes a freshman mistake.
That shot had very little chance of going in, but that's that era of commission. He's hustling to close out. Watch how high that ball's about to go, and that's just a freshman mistake from a guy who's only been playing since January 9th, because when all the turmoil happened at Kansas, especially with the loss of Doak Azubuike, they pulled the red shirt off, and by and large, Bob, he's had a terrific freshman year. And here you see the Twin Towers. De Sosa on the left, ruled ineligible. Doak Azubuike on the right. Wrist injury.
Only played 9 games.
People forget they were 9-0 and #1 in the country when he got hurt.
Ochai Agbaji has a lot of family members over in Nigeria. His dad was over there celebrating his grandfather's birthday. When the word came, Dad, I'm playing tonight. They're taking the red shirt off me. So he had to listen to the game streaming in the middle of the night, like at 4 o'clock in the morning on the radio, to hear his son's debut. And all Ochai did was go out and have the debut of his life.
First play of his career, right? Lob dunk.
Dedrick Lawson back in, and he takes it to the basket. Comes up short. It'll stay with Kansas.
Bill Self's trying to get the ball inside to David McCormick, because David has played really well lately, but Culver, even with that 1 foul, doing a good job of keeping that ball from going inside to him.
Grimes fades away. That won't go, and Culver clears again. Speaking of double-doubles, he's got 8 this season. Clock winding down. McCabe forces a 3 and buries it. How about that freshman?
I'll tell you what he's done is he's continued to keep this Kansas partisan crowd quiet. This is a different West Virginia team than the one we saw most of the season. Youth and poise.
Agbaji slips one up to the rim. That won't go. McCormick on the offensive glass, and he'll shoot 2.
One thing we know about Jordan McCabe is he does not lack for confidence. Watch this. Over the 6'6", Agbaji knocks it down. Former Mr. Wisconsin. He'd like to play against one of his rivals in high school tomorrow night, Tyrese Halliburton.
number 6 all-time in Wisconsin high school history in scoring at 2,442 points. He hadn't scored double figures in a West Virginia game until 7 games ago. He has scored in double figures all 7 since. And we asked Bob Huggins why. Where did this come from with Jordan McCabe? He said he's just playing with confidence because we told him you're the guy. So now he's not looking over his shoulder. If he goes out and goes 4 for 18, we're not taking him off the floor. And he looked up at us, Bob Huggins did, and said, you know, I would have loved it if when I played I went 4 for 18 and didn't get subbed out. I would have shot all the time and been confident too.
Oh, you're talking about the school's all-time leading free throw shooter, by the way.
You didn't have to worry about him ever going 4 for 18.
Yep. Yeah, the coach didn't let him take 18 shots.
Here's Brandon Napper. He's the backup now to McCabe.
I just love the way they're playing with poise.
Culver with 5 to shoot, throws one up into no man's land. Napper tips it out.
That's the one area Culver has to get good at, Bob, because of his size and presence. He's going to get double teamed many possessions, and he's got it's almost like a quarterback in football. You went through it this year with Sam Darnold.
Darnold.
Yep. He's got to learn how to handle the double team and find the open man, because there's always an open man when you're being trapped.
Garrett comes up short. Dedrick Lawson, offensive rebound, puts it back up and in, and it's a 1-point game again. Shot clock winding down for West. Picks up his dribble. Now it's Culver. Pocket picked. Got it right back. Throws one up wildly, but traveled before he got the shot off.
I thought he got fouled first. A lot of contact in there. I don't mind that the officials are letting them both bump, but I thought when he caught that ball, there was a lot of action right here. Take a look. Watch him get it back. Nope, I take that back. There's no foul there. Good job. Young big guy's got to learn to handle those double teams.
Grimes attacks the rim. That won't go. Here comes Napper pushing tempo for West Virginia. Harler slips it back outside the Napper for 3. He knocks it down. I'm not sure what the whistle was for. And the coaches are all looking at each other wondering what the whistle is for. Doug Sermon's heading over to talk to Bob Huggins. And now the two teams will be sent to their respective benches. Culver shaken up on the play, so he's over on the West Virginia bench. And now we've got Doug Sermons and Kip Kissinger at the monitor. And are they going to take a look and see if there was contact away from the play that resulted in the Culver injury? Well, there's a knee from Grimes that shook up Culver. He grabbed the rebound. That's where he got hurt.
Well, the shot was clearly outside the 3. I wonder if there was some contact inside that they're taking a peek at. They don't want to foul these young guys out, but there has been a lot of contact in there. Keith Kimball just gave us the sign. We got nothing.
I'm wondering if maybe they saw Culver hurt and said, "Ooh, maybe he got hurt with contact under the rim. Something happened we didn't see. Let's go check to make sure." But this is just a knee that caught him on the outside of that right thigh, and I guess just kind of deadened his leg because he's over on the sideline trying to work it out. And Culver will head to the sideline with Logan Rout back in. And Bob Huggins making dinner plans with Doug Sermons. They're having a laugh. Dedrick Lawson sets up Garrett inside McCormick. Traveled again.
Well, they're trying to establish McCormick and Lawson inside, but this is a little bit different type of team that they're used to seeing in the Big 12. You're talking about Culver and Rout particularly are big dudes. And Kansas blew this West Virginia team out by 25 when they met last month.
Napper fades away. He's got another. Another timeout called by Bill Self. Actually, that is their first, and he is not pleased. With 8:01 to go in the first half, we'll step aside. Champ Week here in Kansas City. It is the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship. Semifinal number 2. And a great start again for West Virginia as they've got a 6-point lead over Kansas. Last night against Texas Tech, they opened up a 17-point lead in the first half. And you waited all night for the Texas Tech run. And it came. In the second half, with about a minute to go, Texas Tech took a 1-point lead. And the coaching staff for West Virginia was saying today, if that had happened 3 weeks ago, we lose that game.
No doubt about it.
And they played with a toughness last night that they have rediscovered with this young group.
And I was stunned with Texas Tech's. The effort was good, but they just had that zombie-like look on their face, like they had just practiced for 3 hours.
Marcus Garrett leans in and scores, makes it a 4-point game. Baba Shoes and Fran Fraschilla and Holly Rowe here at Sprint Center. The lob is timed. Saved to Matthews. Short for 3. Dietrich Lawson's got it. Garrett fumbled the outlet pass, and Napper heads the other way. Off to Haley, who crosses over and draws the foul on Grimes.
Good job by Napper to get it out ahead to Haley. Jermaine Haley, young man from Burnaby, British Columbia, which is basically Vancouver. Amazing, interesting. He was a freshman at New Mexico State, then went to junior college in Texas, now at West Virginia. And if things had gone a different way, he'd be playing in the Pac-12 semifinal game with the Washington Huskies, recruited by Lorenzo Romar.
Well, Jermaine Haley got started playing basketball when he was 2 years old. His mom and dad put him in a Florida outdoor YMCA league when his dad was down playing football for the Miami Dolphins. And if you want to know why he's stuck with that career moving through all those spots, Fran, how about his dad? He played for Miami, Washington, and then he went to the Canadian Football League, played for the Surrey Rams and the Okanagan Sun. He's learned how to stick to it for his athletic career, and his son has done the same thing.
And now he ends up with the rebound. So here comes Jermaine Haley the other way. Bullets, a pass to West. Blocked by Lightfoot. And a foul call. And they're going to tag Logan Rout.
West bobbled that ball. He thought he had a layup. And as long as this ball is blocked into the backboard, watch, see him bobble it right there? So he didn't have any lift. And it looked like Lightfoot hit the ball on the way up into the board, which is a legal play. You know, getting back to Jermaine Haley, he had the winning basket in Morgantown in January. Kansas was up 6 with about 3 to go, and they never scored again. 7 straight. Haley was the hero.
And now Lightfoot is called for the foul as he was making contact with Lamont West in the lane. That's his second. So Lightfoot checks right back out. And David McCormick comes back in.
Jayhawks have not given their fans a lot to be excited about right now. Very quiet in here.
A rainbow 3 for West won't go. Yeah, it is silent compared to the atmosphere we had in game number 1. Just different than Allen Fieldhouse. No places like that. Traveling called on Moore.
You know, the run is over. An amazing run. 14 straight Big 12 titles. And you would expect that Kansas coming into this tournament would use this tournament as some sort of redemption. They did not look great last night. Bill Self said their offense was below average, and so far tonight, same situation.
Haley cuts to the rim. Back outside to Harler. That's good for 3. Chase Harler knocks down a triple. Largest lead for West Virginia at 7. Marcus Garrett flips it off the glass and through. Culver faces up, finds the cutter and Haley.
That's that poise we talked about with Culver. That time the second defender came and he kept his poise. He looked middle and he found Haley. That's just growth and development from a young big man.
McCormick over Culver. Yes.
Strong move. David McCormick making about 75% of his shots over the last 5 or 6 games. This is a guy that had a lot of DNPs early in the year, Bob. We always enjoyed watching his energy at practice, but he wasn't able to get on the court.
Long rebound to the corner, run down by Grimes. 5-point lead for West Virginia, the first 10 seed since this tournament went to 10 teams to make it to the semifinals, and they're looking for another upset. West goes right at Lawson. Lawson strips it away. And Garrett will push tempo. Grimes wastes no time. Hits it through. Timeout called by Bob Huggins. The first time we've heard from the Kansas faithful as Jayhawks are down by 2.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal Investments, Retirement, Insurance, and Taco Bell, where you can take on the bite of the all-new steak rattlesnake fries.
John Shambi, Robbie Hummel standing by with the Audi halftime report. North Carolina looking for a hat trick against Duke. What a game it was for Iowa State against Kansas State. And they will recap our first semifinal. And what is most important at this time of year during Champ Week, Joey Brackett's in the bunker breaking it down. And there has been some shifting on the bubble, some bid stealers to talk about, and a few teams that you know are going to have their hearts broken on Selection Sunday because they are right on the bubble and it is going to burst. And in this very conference, TCU, I mean, they are right there.
Exactly.
So that's one that Joe Lunardi will be talking about at halftime and tracking for fans out there wondering if their bubble team is going to make it. Lamont West spins on Abaji. Wild shot, no good. Logan Rao blocked by Abaji. West tries again. Plus the foul.
Strong inside by Lamont West, usually known for his three-point shooting, but we've noticed more of a toughness from this guy, especially in the second half of the year when they had all that attrition. Look at that ability to stay with it. Kansas right now with 4 freshmen and a sophomore on the floor.
And Abaji commits his second foul. West can't complete the three-point play, so the Mountaineers with a 4-point lead. Backdoor cut, Dotson. Yes.
When you know a team is going to be aggressive defensively, perfect play right there. Get that defender up in the lane, dribble it at him, back cut.
Shot clock winding down for Napper around McCormick with the left hand. Dotson streaks the other way, goes right to the rim and draws the foul.
Well, there's a good reason that Devon Dotson went right to the rim right there. And that last time out, Bill Self had his whiteboard, and he drew 2 lines with arrows going back and forth from sideline to sideline. He said it's too much of this. He erased it then with his fingers and drove arrows down to the baseline. He said, I want us going downhill. Too much side to side. We've got to get downhill. Marcus Garrett's the only one who's doing a great job of that right now. Devon Dotson took him at his word. That was a downhill play right there.
Done it all year, maybe not as much tonight, but what a freshman season this guy has had. Stuck in the lineup after Devontae Graham left for the NBA. When you think of the great Kansas point guards, Bob, they've always had a mentor. You know, when you think of guys like Sharon Collins, he had guys like Robinson and Chalmers and Rush. Tyshawn Taylor had Collins. Frank Mason and Devontae Graham played off each other well. This kid's had to do it by himself. There's no other point guard on that roster.
Harler tied up, throws it back up to Napper. That one won't go. And McCormick hands it off to Dotson. Grimes for 3. Gets fouled and scores. His 3rd triple here in the first half. Puts KU on top and a chance for a 4-point play.
Great cross-court look, freshman to freshman. And the one thing you can say about Quentin Grimes is he never hesitates to catch and shoot. No thought process here. Up and out. And that time knocks it down with a chance to go for 4.
And now the officials, I guess, are going to go over to the monitor. Certainly looked like Grimes was far enough behind the 3-point line that that's not much of a concern. Maybe they want to make sure they've got the right foul called. It was obviously Napper.
Nice form right there by the freshman from Houston, Texas, number 8 ranked player in the ESPN class of 2018.
The Texas Gatorade Player of the Year, only in double figures now for the 11th time this season. Kansas takes the lead, and the crowd arrives from Allen Fieldhouse finally. Harler. That was a break. Here comes Abaji. Grimes tries another. He's got another. The football coach loves it. The hat in attendance to watch a 5-point Kansas lead. Napper trying to break a 9-0 run. Can't do it. Rolls one off the rim.
Here they come.
McCormick outside of Baji. Napper's got the rebound, fouled by Garrett.
Bobby's only shooting about 30% on the season, and he's getting better, but wants to no hesitation right there. I mean, when that comes off his hands, you got that little swan neck right there. Jeff Long, the athletic director, on the left, and the Mad Hatter on the right. Spring ball going on. He's liking it. He and Bill Self have something in common. That big, fat national championship ring.
It looked like Les Miles had his on. McCormick is able to rebound the miss. Both teams over the limit. 90 seconds to go in the half. Garrett goes to the rim and scores. Around him and Matthews.
Yep, and that scouting report defense right there. You got to know that Marcus Garrett loves that right-hand drive.
Bob Huggins wants a timeout. 1:03 to go, first half. We'll step aside for 30 seconds, and we'll be back in Kansas City.
Emotions are high. They're going to be high. They're going to be all over the place. The crowd will pump the energy into you to go out there and play your best. Embrace the moment. this is a level that you wanted to play at your whole life.
Playing at the Fog could not be more special, but Kansas all-time is 40-9 playing here at the Sprint Center, mostly in the Big 12 championship. At times, though, they will play in some preseason tournaments or a home game here. And Bill Self's team, not the same winning percentage they have at Allen Fieldhouse, certainly, but still tough to beat. About a 45-minute ride from their campus.
40-9, let me think. That's about 80%. I'd say that's pretty good.
Not bad. And not even close to their win percentage in their home building under Bill Self. Let's see how West Virginia handles this final minute as they find themselves on the wrong end of a run for the first time in the game. Culver swoops and scores.
Tough shot. Nothing David McCormick could do about that one. Going 2 for 1 here? I think they are.
Garrett lays it in.
Got it. So they did it.
About a 6-second differential.
I would hold it. Because, Bob, when the ball goes in the basket, if they score at the end, clock still runs. So I wouldn't shoot it right away. Unless they get a layup.
As West bobbles and puts it in. So 20 seconds to go in the half. Plenty of time for Kansas with a 5-point lead. And Dotson will trot it across.
But you see Bill Self, one of the few college coaches who will go 2 for 1, so they may get another basket out of this.
4 to shoot. Grimes looking for another 3. Wow! What a half for Quentin Grimes. 5 for 5 from behind the arc. Let's head over to Holly.
Well, Coach, I asked you earlier this week if any of your freshmen were hitting the wall this late in the season, but it doesn't look like that. How do you describe Quentin Grimes' energy right now?
Well, he made shots. He played great. Of course, we didn't guard anybody the whole half, so it's good that we made some shots late.
How do you change that defensive mindset?
We just got to change our mentality. I don't know if we were tired or whatnot, but they came out with more energy and kicked our butt on the glass, but we kind of settled in the last 10 minutes.
Thank you, Coach.
So it's an 8-point lead for Bill Self's Jayhawks. Quentin Grimes, his season high is 21. He's already got 16 in the first half. That's the last of his 5 made threes in the first 20 minutes. Stay tuned for the Audi Halftime Report with Robbie Hummel and John Shambi after a short break.
Welcome to the Audi Halftime Report.
Welcome in the Audi Halftime Report. We start in the ACC. UNC Duke Part 3 for the first time that Zion has really gotten a chance to participate. Cameron Johnson tracking down the loose ball, knocks down a 3. Carolina down 1 early.
Cameron Johnson came to play tonight, 16 points, matching Zion Williamson, who also, like you said, in his first effort in this game, has 16 as well.
Johnson knocking down a 3. North Carolina up early, 8-4. R.J. Barrett the lob to Zion. He lays it in. And then the jumper there from Barrett, knocking down a 3.
R.J. Barrett, 8 points, 3 of 8, making his impact there, both as a passer and as a playmaker, scoring the basketball.
How about this? Tied at 44 apiece. Zion with 16 at the break. We'll keep you updated on that one. All right, our game here at the half. The winner will take on Iowa State, but Kansas at the half. Quentin Grimes, the freshman, a heralded freshman, a kind of a disappointing season so far, knocking down shots, but transition.
Well, Jayhawk fans have to be ecstatic seeing the Quentin Grimes we saw at the start of the season, who gave it to Michigan State and made perimeter jump shots. It's exactly what we saw today, but it started with Kansas getting out in transition, pushing the tempo. Marcus Garrett finding Quentin Grimes. You get him a quality look, all of a sudden that confidence starts to build. And honestly, when you got a point guard like Devon Dotson, who's not going to dribble the air out of the ball, is going to be unselfish, is going to make the advanced pass, it's an easy game, and he did just that, setting the table for his guys tonight.
What does West Virginia need to do in the second half to get back into this?
They need to, honestly, it's their transition defense. Got to get back. You have to slow down Devon Dotson, but also you got to get after it on the offensive glass. I thought Kansas did a better job in the first half of making it a physical game on the interior, almost beat West Virginia at their own game at times. We saw David McCormick. We saw Dedrick Lawson. West Virginia has to get off after it on the offensive glass here in the second half.
West Virginia got here knocking off the 2 seed. The 1 seed, Kansas State, played in the first semifinal against a very good Iowa State team. Early on, Xavier speed into your living room.
Watch your head.
Kansas State up 51-47. Later, Iowa State down 51-48. Rebound from Jacobson, up ahead. Tyrese Halliburton throws it down.
How about the Kevin Love-like outlet pass from Michael Jacobson? End of the game, this is the story that matters. Mary Al-Shayok came to play. A guy that gets buckets and did just that here in Kansas City.
Huge win, and Iowa State into the finals. Still to come, Big East will take you to the Garden. Villanova and Xavier in a good one.
This halftime report is presented by Audi. This halftime report is presented by Audi.
Our next UFC Fight Night happens Saturday in the O2 Arena in London. England's own Darren Till taking on Jorge Masvidal in a welterweight co-main event, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, ESPN Plus in English and Spanish. ACC, the 1 seed, Virginia, in a tough spot against Florida State, a very good FSU team.
I'm telling you, this FSU team is scary. They have athletes. They get in the passing lanes. Today, their bench came to play. They outscore Virginia's bench 28-8. A dominant performance at the ACC tournament for Florida State.
And a team with a lot of size as well. Down the stretch, MJ Walker to steal. Terrence Mann, people will come, Ray. Florida State wins 69-59. Third ACC final for FSU. They've lost the previous 2. All right, Big Ten, Michigan and Iowa. First half, Xavier Simpson.
A little sky hook action. One of the best point guards in the Big Ten Conference, showing off exactly what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar used to do. Michigan playing at a high level right now. You see the way they're moving the ball. Charles Matthews back from injury. All Michigan at the United Center at the Big Ten tournament.
Matthews hits the 3. Michigan up by 11. Michigan looking to follow up last year's Big Ten title with another this season. Minnesota, the 1 upset so far in the quarters, knocking out the 2 seed Purdue. Sorry, Robbie. It had to happen. All right, we go SEC, and from Nashville, Kentucky in the early going. Lob, throwdown, Nick Richards, thank you. Kentucky up 24-11. And Kentucky so tough down low. P.J. Washington the miss, Reed Travis the putback, and then up ahead, Keldon Johnson dishes to Richards, a slam, Kentucky up 15.
They are rolling at this point. Tyler Hero's third 20-point game in the last 5 games. All Kentucky at the SEC tournament today.
And Kentucky 2 wins away from its 5th straight SEC title. Wildcats await the winner of Tennessee and Mississippi State, Florida, and Auburn, the other semifinal. Big East from Madison Square Garden, the 1 seed in the last 3 years. Villanova, your national champs. Down the stretch, put back there for Nova.
Villanova's had trouble with Xavier this year. Xavier, a team that's playing much better over the course of this season. Najee Marshall getting a little over-aggressive, called for the charge. A tough call there for Xavier.
Xavier led most of the way. Villanova took it to overtime, and eventually in OT, Jermaine Samuels knocks down the 3, and Villanova in OT wins it 71-67. All right, so 4 big changes to Joe Lunardi's bubble today. VCU's loss in the A-10 tourney stole a bid, knocked Belmont out of the field. Florida won to jump from last 4 to last 4 byes, and Alabama and Xavier both lost. Still to come, Kansas, West Virginia. Great first half for Quentin Grimes and the Jayhawks on top by 8.
Fried egg, crispy bacon, brioche bun. The brunch burger is a win because now I can have brunch whenever I want.
It's a real brunch of champions.
Oh, you referring to these old things?
No, I was referring to the burger.
Sonic's Brunch Burger or quarter-pound double cheeseburger in tots for $2.99. And try order ahead to get happy hour anytime.
Do your thing. Flee that nest. Seize that moment. Find your inspiration. Be extraordinary. Spread your wings and experience the Mazda CX-5 with new signature trim and turbo. Mazda. Feel alive.
The Big 12, the nation's premier basketball conference, where the best coaches and the top athletes call home. Consistently rated the nation's best. In the Big 12, we play every team at home and away. When we say every game matters, we mean it.
We return to Champ Week, presented by Principal. Semifinal number 2, and the crowd outside of the Power and Light here at Kansas City Live. They have been packed in all night watching the big screen basketball outside the Sprint Center. Inside the Sprint Center, we've had great games as well. The Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship, semifinal number 2. And in the first half, Quentin Grimes with 5 made threes powered Kansas from a deficit to an 8-point advantage against the surprise of the tournament so far, West Virginia. Since this tournament went to 10 teams, no 10 seed has ever made the semifinals until this year when West Virginia upset their way to a chance to take on Kansas. Iowa State has already moved on. Bob Wischusen here with Fran Fraschilla. Holly Rowe will join us in just a moment as well. And if you're Bill Self, you know you have to count on freshmen. You have no choice. That's what you play. He's got Dedrick Lawson and a bunch of freshmen. Someone has to step up, and so far, it's been Quentin Grimes.
Yep, and I think all 3 freshmen have been sensational. When you think about it, Bob, look at these guys. They came in here to play at a high level for Kansas, and Quentin Grimes has certainly got off to the kind of start that Bill Self has been expecting. This is the best game he has played as a Jayhawk since his 21-point performance in the Champions Classic against Michigan State. And this guy all season long has been rock solid. The speed, and then, of course, inside the power of David McCormick.
48 first half points for Kansas. Their second most in an opening half this season. And it was because Grimes lit it up from behind the arc. Matthews down the lane, a nice find from Culver, and one of those defensive breakdowns that Bill Self mentioned he was not happy about to Holly Rowe as he was heading to the locker room at halftime. He wanted that tightened up. That's not a good start.
No, especially because of the way he was disgusted with that start to start the game.
He said, we made some shots, as Lawson makes one here, but he said we didn't guard anybody. And now he jumps up off the bench, urging his team to play some defense to match how well they're playing offensively. Culver spins baseline. Yes.
He's tough. They tried to come and double, but he made his move before the double team could come.
With West Virginia coach Bob Huggins at halftime, and I asked him about getting Kansas off that 3-point line. They had 6 threes in the first half, shooting 60%. He said, honestly, I'm more worried about the 20 points we gave up in the paint. Add 22 to that. He said, you know, it's hard to play both, pick your poison on that defensive front. And then I asked him about Emmett Matthews, who scored 28 points last night. I said, how do you get him going? Just 3 points in the first half. He said, he's got to get himself going. It was a good sign that he scored their first 2 of the half.
Well, to Holly's point, just as she's talking about points in the paint, David McCormick with a chance for a 3-point play.
Yeah, and remember, we talked about this earlier. This kid had to wait his turn behind Azubuike and Lawson and Lightfoot. Last 3 games coming in tonight, Bob, 14.6 rebounds. More impressively, 75% from the field. And when Bill Self starts throwing you the ball, that tells you he's got confidence in you.
And Kansas perfect at the line. Culver in the paint. Again goes with the left hand to the glass. Beautifully done. He's the first player for West Virginia in double figures.
That's hard, man. He is a monster in there. You can't guard him one-on-one.
Lawson taps it out of bounds. It'll stay with Kansas.
He's posting up a big guy himself. Take a look at how much space he takes up. Look at that angle right there. And then he keeps David Lawson off balance with a little juke move, middle, comes back to the left hand. And very poised for a young guy with limited college experience.
Well, guys, I heard Bill Self earlier telling McCormick to not let Culver go to his right. So what does he do? He follows the coach's request, doesn't let him go right, but Culver is really developing that left hand, and we saw that.
And once again, we see Dedrick Lawson play through contact. Eyes on the rim. He's got 13.
When you look at Lawson and McCormick, Bob, it's like old school Bill Self basketball with 2 posts.
And now a takeaway by Grimes. Right to the rim. Matthews from the corner. Lawson's got the rebound. Here comes KU. Dotson leans in. That won't go. McCormick. An offensive rebound, and a foul is called on Chase Harler of West Virginia.
Oh, David McCormick, one thing he would love to do is play against a former teammate tomorrow night, Lindell Wigginton. They were teammates at Oak Hill Academy a couple years ago, and he would love to get to that final and meet up with Wigginton. At Oak Hill, that great program that's produced some pretty good players, Bob, starting with Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, so many others.
McCormick to Lawson. To the bucket. Logan Rout gets caught under the backboard and needs some help. 3 seconds called as Logan Rout didn't get out of the lane. And now West Virginia looks like they're starting to get sped up and a little disjointed at the offensive end. That patience you talked about that you were so impressed with, and that guy right now not pleased.
Right.
They just look different offensively.
It's dissipated, that patience. And it's gone away.
Certainly by the head coach.
Yeah.
There's the first miss from 3 for Grimes. Culver. I think he just could have let that one go out of bounds. Instead, it's a held ball. It's going to go back to Kansas. Not sure why Culver felt the need to run that one down.
Inexperience. And oftentimes when a guy thinks he's hustling, he's not really making the right play. And here's, to your point, watch this. And you like the hustle. He just didn't know any better, and that's just a lack of experience.
Grimes tries another 3. And now he's missed his last couple. Andrew Gordon has checked in for the first time, hands one off to McCabe. And Gordon with a nice fake goes to the rim and gets pinned. Dotson. He's pinned as well by Chase Harler. Good defense at both ends. 13-point lead for Kansas, trying to get to the title game at Iowa State tomorrow.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal Investments, Retirement, Insurance.
Dedrick Lawson leads the Big 12 in scoring, leads the Big 12 in rebounding, and has just carried over his production from Memphis as a transfer to Kansas. Does he ever come from a basketball family?
Sure does. Chandler will head to Oregon next year, but this is what you love about this guy. He is really skilled, Bob. He's not a super athlete, as evidenced by the fact that he went to the combine a couple of years ago. and didn't wow them with athleticism, but the skill level is definitely there. That's a foul.
And that is called on Gordon.
Last year, if you remember, we were at a lot of practices. Bill Self would tell us the best player on our team is the guy sitting out.
It's on the bench.
Yeah, Dedrick Lawson. There aren't many guys in the country his size that have that kind of offensive skill.
Dotson from the corner. Short. Gordon pulls down the rebound. Gordon over Lawson. That's way short. And Lawson's got the rebound. And he'll bring it up himself. Dotson back to Gordon in the corner. Knocks it down.
How about that?
Lawson is able to extend the lead to 62-46.
And the reason he's out on that corner three is because McCormick is now occupying the paint. And that's what I meant when I said they're back to playing that too big bully ball Kansas style basketball.
A steal by Grimes. Dribbled it on the sideline. He had Dotson ahead and tried to make the pass before he had full control of the basketball.
It's amazing, Bob. Early in the year, first 18 games, Dedrick Lawson, we showed it earlier, 21% behind the arc. And since then, he's approaching 50.
Well, Grimes made such a noisy 18 so far with all the threes in the first half. You look up and realize Dedrick Lawson has 18 and 6. And his are more quiet because they're expected. So consistent every single game as Matthews misses everything from the corner. Garrett crosses over to the rim. Beautiful finger roll from Marcus Garrett.
Don't think they didn't miss him when he missed 6 games with that ankle injury in the middle of the season. They were dying to get him back.
And 4 Kansas players now in double figures as the Jayhawks have their largest lead. Culver, no good. Grimes, offensive foul. McCabe took the charge. That's the second foul called on Grimes.
Now watch Garrett. He's been so good. Ollie mentioned earlier about Bill Self always talking about playing downhill. And that's what we mean by that. Don't play east-west. Play north-south. Like you're going down a hill, and he does that so well. We thought of him early in the year and last year as a defensive specialist. And then midway through January, he was really cooking offensively.
He missed 5 games early in February with an ankle injury, and they missed him. They missed his, as you said, speed, turn the corner, downhill type game. That took something away from their offense when he was out. As Culver with the soft touch gets it to roll home.
Remember what Bill Self called him during the year? He's the Kansas's security blanket. He defends, he can score, he's a great teammate, he doesn't need to shoot a lot.
Dotson. That won't go. Matthews saves it to the corner, and it's off the leg of Dotson. Lightfoot and Nabaji come back in for Grimes and McCormick.
We talked about Kansas's freshmen, but there have been 3 or 4 Mountaineer freshmen on the floor tonight for most of this game. Right now, 3 of them all getting Big 12 tournament experience. It'll help them in the future.
Shake and bake from Haley. Matthews, he is blocked by Lightfoot. Numbers for Kansas. Dotson carried it.
Mitch Lightfoot is, you talk about a foot soldier. He does all the little things. A lot of people did not think he would play very much when he came to Kansas, and he has certainly been patient. But his efforts are appreciated by his coaching staff and teammates.
He forces Culver into a deep jumper. Tapped around. Diving on the floor is Abaji. And Dotson will wait for help. Edric Lawson. Now to Abaji. Abaji in the mid-range. Yes.
Good inside-out basketball that time. Lawson, Lightfoot, Abaji. Good touches.
Ochai's first basket. Lamont West fades away. And Matthews fouled by Lawson.
Now this is a play that will show up in the film session tomorrow. Watch this. This time of year, you got to have people giving up their bodies, and there's the ball movement. Lawson first, inside, outside. Little screen, pull-up jumper.
Well, good play there by Ochai Abaji, and if you really think about how unusual his journey has been, just over a year ago, he was in high school getting offered from Kansas. He wasn't really highly recruited because as a junior in high school, he didn't play in any of the basketball exposure tournaments in the summer. He was committed to playing club soccer at a very high level. He finally decided to start playing basketball, and Kansas looked at him. He's just from Kansas City here, not far from where the Jayhawks are. So a very late offer, and he was like, I couldn't believe it. I called my grandparents, called my family. After a couple of days, Kansas offered me. I said yes. So just about a year later, here he is starting in his hometown for the Jayhawks, and you see that all-out effort. He's trying to make them proud.
That's a great point, Holly. It was mid-February, so a little over 12 months ago that he got that offer from Kansas. Lob.
And Abaji missed it. Moore airmailed him.
That's too high.
8 minutes gone by in the second half, and Kansas in control against West Virginia.
The end of the practice is when we do all of our intensity drills. She was going at it.
Stop. Right there. There we go.
If we win this, it's the one way to get to the playoffs.
I know.
Time to take a look at our Big 12 flashback, brought to you by Phillips 66, and we'll flash back to about an hour and a half ago. Iowa State, Mariel Shayok, 2 big threes late. And they survived against the #1 seed Kansas State. This place was rocking down the stretch of that game, and it will be rocking tomorrow because you know the Iowa State fans, they are going to bring the noise.
Oh, yeah.
And it certainly looks as if it's going to be another Iowa State-Kansas final. You know the KU fans are going to respond to the Iowa State noise, so it'll be deafening in here tomorrow for that championship game, assuming Kansas polishes off the next 12 minutes.
You know what the Iowa State fans are bringing? Ames. Ames will be here tomorrow night. Last one out. Turn out the lights. Good strong move.
Jump hook by Andrew Gordon.
He's only a sophomore. He went to junior college and was a high school football player, but he's got some potential. Plays hard, big body.
Lightfoot lays it in. Abaji jumps the pass, but knocks it right to Napper. Napper blocked by Lightfoot, but fouled before the shot. That's Charlie Moore that picks up the foul. Or check that, Garrett, that's his second. So that will put Napper at the line. 4 block shots in 7 minutes for Mitch Lightfoot. You know, there are certain guys that do certain particular things very well, and Mitch Lightfoot, watching him for the last several years, just strikes me as a guy that has that knack of timing, that knows exactly when to go up to challenge a shot, because he doesn't have classic shot blocker size, but he just gets the job done.
Yeah, and he's motivated, and here's what he's motivated by. Kansas keeps an energy chart, and they chart charges, block shots, deflections, floor burns, hard screens. His goal is to get 1 energy point a minute he plays. He plays 12 minutes a game, Bob, and he usually reaches that goal. He's not worried about points. He's worried about energy plays.
Charlie Moore sets up Lightfoot for 3. And Gordon pulls down the rebound. Haley with a crossover. That's wild up over the top of Lightfoot off the backboard, and it'll go to Kansas.
I think he put that ball way up on the backboard because of Mitch. This young team getting experience for Bob Huggins. It's been a disappointing season, but some nice building blocks we've seen in this tournament with the 2 upset wins.
Lightfoot threw a double team to the reverse.
He's allowing as well to give those guys on the bench right now some rest, because it's going to be a war tomorrow night if Kansas holds on here.
Oh! Gordon gets his own miss. Can't put it back up and in. And Grimes is held by West. Sports Center tonight after Oregon, Arizona State over on ESPN with John Bucci-Gross and Zubin Mehenti. They'll have a full recap and breakdown of Zion and Duke taking on North Carolina, plus the Rockets, Blazers, Spurs, and Clippers all in action as the West playoff race heats up. And Andy North previews moving day at the Players Sports Center after the Pac-12 semis on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Tiger survived the cut?
Yes.
He did. Okay. And the leader is right now?
Rory McIlroy,
okay,
I believe, went to the top of the leaderboard with Tommy Fleetwood. I have to double check that. Didn't see how it finished.
Well, you watched about 2 hours today before we came on the air.
Well, it was on for about 8 hours.
You were giving me the play-by-play.
That's what I do. Fleetwood and McIlroy tied at 12 under. What else do you need to know?
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good right now.
West, nice shot fake, steps back, and look at Abaji recover to block that shot. 8 to shoot for West Virginia. Culver, just a little too strong. And Grimes, who's played a terrific game, has the rebound. Charlie Moore to the corner to Abaji. Yes.
That'll help him because he lost his confidence over the last 6 games. And he's going to always give you effort. This kid had 24 at Texas. That'll really help. And it's also helping right now with Dotson and Lawson on the bench, resting for what will be a physical game tomorrow night.
Napa floats one up. And it will stay with West Virginia. He saw his mom and dad sitting there for Ochai Abaji. Now, you're a Kansas City kid. You're playing at the Sprint Center, starting for KU in the Big 12 championship. His sister plays volleyball at Texas. Mom and dad both played basketball at Milwaukee. But now you're sitting a couple rows behind the Kansas bench at the Big 12 championship, watching your freshman son as Charlie Moore cruises in for 2. I can't imagine the emotions that must go along with that for a parent.
Now, when the red shirt was being thought about taking off after the injury to Azubuike, Bill Self called the family and said, look, we want to do this with your blessing. Ochai was on board. Mom and dad was on board. And Bob, I don't think we could have expected the kind of performance out of this kid for much of the year that Bill Self has gotten. In fact, when we did some games early in his career, he brought some energy to this team.
Haley is tied up by Grimes, and Grimes is called for the foul. So the unlikely freshman addition to this Kansas team. He was supposed to redshirt, and instead Ochai Abaji made his debut second half of the season, and he has made it count. That triple.
Kevin Connor, Sean Farnham in studio. Duke, Carolina has been another classic, and Sean Zion's one bite at the apple has been a masterpiece.
Yeah, this is the stuff that legends are made of, is when you play in a rivalry game, how do you show out? How do you perform? How about 26 and 10 on 11 of 15 shooting for Zion Williamson?
Duke up 2 over on ESPN. Meantime, Wichita State leading Temple by 8 right now over on ESPNU, Bob.
All right, Kevin, thanks very much. So I guess it's safe for Zion to play basketball again. Is that all right?
I think it's okay. Yep. And I think
he's good?
I think you'd have to, you would have had to keep him from, you'd have to take the Nikes away from him for him not to play.
Absolutely. You would have had to.
Shut it down. Don't play. Shut it down.
And not a guy with that kind of passion. Napper to the corner to West. Hey! Offensive rebound, Culver. Blocked from behind, but a foul called on Lightfoot. What we talked about, what a thrill it must be for mom and dad to watch Ochai Agbaji right here in his hometown. Holly decided to find out for herself.
Well, we were just talking about how cool this must be for you guys to be here in your hometown watching your son play in this moment. He said he used to come to games as a kid. Do you remember bringing him here?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Every year. Every year you'd come and watch?
Oh, yes, definitely. Him and his father would always come and watch, and every game. They never missed a game.
So we fast forward a few years, and here he is now playing on this same floor. At what point did you think he might start playing basketball instead of really focusing on the soccer route?
Probably his junior year when he got tall enough, so we knew soccer was not going to be it, and basketball was it. And just for him to be on the home court in front of the home crowd is really impressive to see.
You know, we were talking about how hard it must have been to decide to take his red shirt off kind of halfway through the year. What was that conversation like with your family?
We kind of were all on the same page about it, and I know I talked to Coach and I said, as far as he, you know, if he's ready and you feel he's ready, then yes, we're all for it. So Coach saw something, and we're happy. We're happy with the decision. So.
And just seeing him play with this effort and attitude, how proud are you of the effort he's putting in every single game?
Very, very proud, and I'm excited that Coach saw something in him, and Coach worked it out, and he's able to help the team. So we're very excited. I'm very proud of what he's done.
Okay, well, congratulations, and enjoy this hometown moment. I can't imagine how special.
Thank you.
That's great. That's just great stuff.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Although
living a dream right now.
Frustration for Bill Self. His team has a commanding lead, but they just got sloppy at the offensive end. So he's sending a message to some of the bench guys. Here comes Lawson, Dotson, and Garrett back into the game, and Ochai Agbaji part of the group that sits down.
Yeah, he wants to finish this game out well. He's also, like I mentioned earlier, he's given those starters a breather. Dotson plays 35-plus minutes a night, Bob, so this guy has been an Iron Man from the very start of the season. He's going to match up tomorrow night with a childhood friend from 4th and 5th grade, Taylor Horton Tucker. A lot of people think of Devon Dotson as being from Charlotte, but he didn't move to Charlotte until 6th grade.
And McCormick and Garrett have a brain cramp, and they hand the ball right back to West Virginia. So we will step aside for just a moment with 6.5 minutes to go in the game. West Virginia ball with 6.5 minutes to go. Kansas still on top by plenty. Having said that, though, the reason West Virginia has the basketball displeased Bill Self. He doesn't want his team now mentally to go to sleep, which they just did, as McCormick and Garrett turned it over, and now a reverse lay-in for Jordan McCabe cuts the lead down to 15 with 6:25 to go.
Exactly. Even if you win, you don't want to leave this game with a bad taste in your mouth. because you didn't close the deal.
Grimes, air ball, and he's hurt. He came down awkwardly as he got hit on the thigh. And now the officials will stop play and go back and see what happened to Quentin Grimes as West scores to cut the lead down to 13. When Kansas had a 23-point lead, this is not, I think, how Bill Self expected this game to end. And Grimes came down, just caught on the knee by McCabe and locked up. He was the first half hero. We'll see if he can walk this off. He had 5 threes made in the first half, has missed all of his three-point opportunities in the second half, and now he's got a bad wheel.
Well, you hope he's okay, but the larger issue for Kansas now is that they've given away that a lot of that 23-point lead. There's still 6 minutes to go. And the way this West Virginia team has played over the last 2 days, they're playing with house money. Gonna play in a zone right here. Hopefully force some deep, tough shots.
Dotson plus the foul.
So much for that. How about that speed?
Well, guys, that when he came down on that shot, he actually got hit on the right leg by the knee. This is his left leg, obviously, that's cramping up. You can see them go quickly to the bench and get the electrolytes and the Gatorade out of their athletic training bag. Bill Cowgill is there working on that calf and hamstring. I've actually had my son cramp up the exact same way. So I was getting a giggle because I was like, oh, I've seen this before.
Well, and as it relates, Bob, to tomorrow night, you know, 3 games in 3 nights is a lot to ask.
And that stabilizes the game somewhat. A 4-point trip as McCormick got the offensive rebound and found Abaji backdoor. And now Dotson's got the rebound. McCormick. Inside out, perfectly executed by Kansas as Lawson got right underneath the basket.
I mean, that could have been the Morris twins. That could have been Cole Aldridge, Wayne Simeon. Twin Towers right there, the big guys.
And Bob Huggins calls a timeout as the lead has quickly gone from 13 up to 19. Speaking of which.
Yep, the former Jayhawk had a good NBA career at Minneapolis, and he's enjoying himself.
And you were talking about point guards earlier.
I was talking about the great point guards in Kansas history, and I forgot that guy right there. He's going to let me know it, but one of the all-time best. Bill Self once said that he might have been the most competitive player he's ever coached, and he amended it slightly to throw Frank Mason into that mix 2 years ago.
It was always impressive to sit behind the Kansas bench at practice when they would come over, give the scout, and ask pointed questions to all of the guys on the bench about whoever their matchup might be for that night, looking for that player to kind of regurgitate the scouting report back to them. Frank Mason not only always knew the information about the guy he was responsible for knowing about, he would always be down at the end of the bench, kind of lip-syncing the scouting report for all the other guys as well. He knew everything.
Yeah.
He was an encyclopedia of the opposition and the scouting report. McCabe with a miss. Culver wrestles away the rebound, scoops it up, and that won't go. McCormick clears. Lawson ran the floor and had it tipped off his finger. When you think of Kansas as an NCAA tournament team, how important will their draw be? Because they obviously have flaws. They're not a good outside shooting team. What type of team's a good matchup for them? What type of a team is a bad matchup for them if you're projecting how far they may be able to get?
I think teams with depth and speed and then get out and get some easy baskets so they don't have to play against the half-court defense, because this is still a team with 4 McDonald's All-Americans out there. Kansas should be, right now they're a 4 seed. I think they can be a 3 seed with a little luck and, of course, winning this tournament. And I think it's a team that's going to, I think it's a Sweet 16 team this season. But they've played the toughest strength of schedule, Bob. And when we talk about quality wins, they've got the most Quadrant 1 and Quadrant 2 wins in the country at 17. And just as a reminder, a Quadrant 1 win this year, the new net ratings, is a win at home over a top 30 team, a win on a neutral site over top 50, and a win on the road over a top 75 team.
In the non-conference, Kansas has wins over Michigan State, Marquette, Tennessee, and Villanova, just to name a few. So when you win games, I mean, those are all borderline, if not conference champions. Teams that have been ranked in and out of the top 10 at times this year. They beat a bunch of them, so they have to, I would think, benefit from that when the seeding comes out.
There is a chance if New Mexico State and Vermont win their leagues that Kansas will play 26 games against the NCAA field. That is a tremendous part of your resume.
Free throws for Dedrick Lawson when we come back. Tough night for that guy.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Golden Corral, featuring endless sirloin and seafood.
Dedrick Lawson, just doing what he does. This is a night at the office, 20 points and 7 rebounds for the #1 scorer and #1 rebounder in the Big 12.
D-smooth right there. And you can pretty much count on what you just said. Double-double. And, you know, it's not like he gets 33. It's usually 18 to 22, 10 rebounds. But the improvement he's made even over the course of this season has been terrific.
The 16th time this season he's gone over 20 points. He's only gone over 30 twice. But if he's able to pull down 3 more rebounds between now and the buzzer sounding, that would be double-double number 21 this season. No, again, #1 in scoring and rebounding in the Big 12. And the last time that there was a player to lead the league in both of those 2 categories, 2009 at OU, his name was Blake Griffin.
He's had a pretty good NBA career.
How about Dedrick Lawson? How does he project to you as an NBA player? Not nearly as athletic as a Blake Griffin, but he's got that kind of old man savvy game under the basket.
He does. He went to the NBA Combine 2 years ago before he transferred, Bob, and he did not measure out well athletically. In fact, he was at the very bottom of the list of guys, 50 or so players. He's got a chance to make a team, maybe a second-round pick if he comes out. But what will get him and keep him in the league is the skill level. Lateral quickness on the defensive end. They always say about the NBA, you are the position you can guard, and that's what he has to find. But offensively, I think he's got a chance because he does so many things well.
And he's expanded that shooting range this year. That's going to show the scouts something as well.
Correct.
As Garrett's off balance, and he draws a foul. And according to our scouting department at ESPN, the top prospects in the Big 12, Jared Culver leading the way. Jackson Hayes, he is certainly being drafted on spec because he has a very raw and early on game. And Taylor Horton Tucker, Dedrick Lawson also on the board, Holly.
Well, everybody was really holding their breath last night when Jackson Hayes got his knee injured in that game. They were waiting to get him an MRI, but travel delays have left Texas not leaving Kansas City until about 5 p.m. tonight. So we're waiting to hear what his MRI reveals, but there was some hope in the Texas camp that the knee injury was not as serious as they previously thought, but they are waiting till they get back home to Austin. A charter airplane delay kept both Texas Tech and Texas here in town a few extra hours.
And that's a situation where if Texas does not get to the NCAA tournament, and that guy will be in the NBA someday, yes, because he's the best athlete on this team. But if you're Texas, and I know they're hoping against hope they can get in the NCAA field, it's going to be hard at 16-16. That's a kid that I'm not sure, depending on how serious the injury is, that you play him in the NIT. That's like a minor bowl game. No offense, NIT, but I don't think you want to take that risk with a young man with that much long-term potential, and especially potential to make an incredible living at this game. So hopefully he's not hurt, and hopefully we'll see him back on the court in the Texas uniform.
Lawson thought he was fouled. Matthews the other way, sets up McCabe. Well, this little stretch at the end of the season, I think, has reinvigorated the hope of Bob Huggins, that he has some guys next year, certainly also with what he has coming in, that this is not going to be as long and arduous a rebuild for West Virginia as maybe he thought when he was about midway through this season.
Yes, they've got a McDonald's All-American coming in, Oscar Shibwe, who went to the same high school as Sagaba Kanate. And a big question for this team is, what is going to happen with Kanate? Does he want to go to the NBA? Does he want to come back? That'll be determined, but there'll be a lot of size and talent on this roster next year.
Well, the guys that aren't coming back tonight are now the starters, because here is Bill Self with a Kansas curtain call for Dotson, Lawson, Abaji, McCormick, and Garrett. So the bench is emptied with a 20-point lead with just over a minute to go by Bill Self. Logan Rout gets to hang from the rim, and we'll see if maybe one of the walk-ons gets a chance to put one up. Here's Garrett Lewinstra.
Kansas will tip in about 19 hours or so, so it's back to the hotel, get the kids hydrated, something to eat, go to bed. Coaches will stay up all night. And,
did our cameras capture that?
I had a pen in my hand.
That was really good hands by the coach.
Thank you. They used to call me Freddie Bolitnikoff in the neighborhood.
No, they didn't.
And that's a name out of the past.
No one ever called you that. Maybe Fred Flintstone.
I was a pretty good touch football player. I don't know. I'd go down to the third car and go down and out.
That's it. Make a left at the gutter.
As long as I could dive into the grass.
Jordan McCabe giving effort all the way to the end as Charlie Moore can't lay it in. And McCabe pulls it down. A home run pass for Harler. And he lays it in. And that is cosmetic for West Virginia. It'll be a 14-point win for Kansas. And they will move on to the championship game tomorrow. And a Sprint Center that will be thundering when the group from Ames and the group from Lawrence meet in the championship final. The Phillips 66 Big 12 championship game is set. Kansas and Iowa State tomorrow at 6 Eastern. For Fran Fraschilla and Holly Rowe, I'm Bob Wischusen. We will see you tomorrow here at 6 Eastern. It's time for SportsCenter.
The ESPN app now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and download now.